And yep, definitely, here comes more banelings and mutalisks flying in. Looks like this attack is going to be countered, mostly. Spoke too soon. Banelings now here rolling down into the natural, taking out as much as they can. Marines getting in the way, getting splashed on by those banelings. Infestors running away. This infestor looks like it will be taken out. No, lives to fight another day. 17 HP. Going back in to try and get another fungal growth off. Gets blasted by that siege tank. Mutalisks flying out of the base. See this command center. Looks like they're going to try and pick that off. Marines nowhere in the sight. And it looks like they are going to get this planetary fortress taken down before it is able to morph into an orbital command. Meanwhile, this Thor is coming up to do as much damage as possible before these mutas manage to take out the base. +3 infantry weapons on its way, as well as getting 2 more factories, 4 more barracks, another command center, another planetary fortress, 1 Broodlords in production. We probably already have Broodlords on the map. There they are. Broodlords flying in. He's got no Vikings, nothing to take care of these Broodlords. They're going to do so much damage. Siege tanks blasting their own units. This Thor managing to get taken down quite low health. Broodlords full health, now taking a couple of shots from those Thors. Thors do minimal damage to Broodlords. Thor gets taken out. Now these missile turrets are being focused down. Siege tanks forced to retreat. And it looks like Liquid HayprO is able to clean up the center of the map. Another main attack going in here into the main. Siege tanks here to repel some of these Zerglings, but can't fire fast enough, and those siege tanks get surrounded. And now they're working on those production facilities. Going to take out this upgrade before it even finishes. Vikings now on the field. But it's going to be too little too late, as the Broodlords are now in the second set of production facilities. 40 Zerglings morphing in and on their way over. As we do have this huge amount of Zerglings and Banelings. 3 more Broodlords on the map. These Broodlords are doing so much damage. Planetary Fortress getting as many kills as possible to kill those Broodlings. But luckily for the Broodlords, they do still do 22 damage as the Broodlings are flying down. Even spawning infested Terrans just to add into the mixture of units. From those infestors, production facilities going down, and QXC is forced to GG out of this game as he was just getting ripped apart from the middle, from the bottom, from the top. There was Zerg everywhere in this game. If you like my channel, please subscribe down below, and as always, keep sending me those replays. I'll check you guys later. Marines stimming up here, chasing those mutas away, and here comes the tank push. We've got quite a few tanks, a few Marauders, quite a bit of Marines, and then this one Hellion. And the mutas look like they're flying around, going to poke up in here into the main. Couple missile turrets up yet. Looks like just the one, possibly just to shoo that out. But it looks like he's going to focus in on that factory and not even worry about the missile turret as more mutas are streaming into the base. Marines forced to pull back to deal with these mutas. And now that missile turret is starting to engage those mutas, chewing them away. Baneling speed on the way. Zerg fire attack level 1 almost finished. Definitely keeping QXC locked in his base. We're at about 14 minutes in the game right now. +1 armor now being researched, as well as +1 infantry weapons, and getting some more missile turrets put up. Basically, when those mutas are on the base, the Terran really can't afford to move out, as the mutas can just fly in, do a counterattack, and then fly out. So it definitely keeps the Terran player on his toes. But you've got the takes out that SCV before that missile turret manages to finish. Now the missile turret does go up. Has a couple of Marines here for defense, just to kind of scare away those 9 mutalisks. But for the most part, as long as you've got mutas on the base, the Terran army really has a hard time moving out, just because he's worried of a counterattack. He's going to push out right now. We do have a couple of missile turrets in the base for defense, and we'll see how this engagement happens here. Looks like he could potentially be sieging up outside this creep line, killing off the queen, killing off some more of those creep tumors, pushing that back as best as possible. We do have a spine crawler out here in the center of the map. Siege tanks sieged up behind the trees there, so you can't quite see them. Not in range to do any damage just yet. Banelings being morphed and rolling back. We do have 18 Banelings on the map right now, and it does look like this infantry force is going to be chasing down and going for these mutable, as they do see that the orbital command is now being morphed, or the command center is now being morphed into a planetary fortress down here at the 3rd base. Meanwhile, it looks like these Marines are just trying to get a good attack on these mutalisks, just softening up that planetary fortress before it manages to finish. And it looks like, yes, these Marines will be taking out. More Marines streaming down just to work on those mutalisks, that mutalisk health. Medevac flying away, more Marines coming in, stimming those up, popping 3 mutalisks. And it looks like, yep, those mutalisks will be chased away. And we'll see if he decides to transfer some SCVs, as he is starting to slowly get mined out in these bases. Thor now in production. Supply block locked in its base, as we do have another engineering bay and an armory going up, +1 ground armor is almost finished, as well as the pathogen glance and the ground or flyer armor level 1 for those mutas. And it looks like we could be definitely seeing some kind of infestor transition from our Zerg players. Infestors are great against these bio armies. Small little encounter here, taking out a few Marines, taking out a few Banelings. But it looks like he's just slow tank pushing across the map, as we do have some missile turrets being built up in the center. But it looks like without any Marine support, these tanks are open for counterattack, and it looks like they are going to get taken down. Takes out one tank, and the Marines come in and chase those mutas away. Still sitting at those 9 mutas. He keeps rebuilding the ones he's losing, so it looks like 9 is a good number to have. Thor's now coming over here to chase away those mutas again. I don't think they saw that Thor, but doing as much damage as they possibly can before. Looks like the medevac was used to bait those mutas down, get some more free damage done on those. Mutas in the yellow and orange right now, possibly even a little weaker. Now we're up to 14 mutas as the Zerg player does take his 5th base and is now getting ready to take a 6th base right here. So Liquid HayprO's macro is starting to kick in full gear, up to 183 supply right now, 173 for the Terran player. But if they do have one big counterattack, they are going to manage. If they do manage to engage each other, HayprO is going to be able to re-macro a lot faster, and HayprO is also taking this base down here in the bottom, leaving the Terran with very limited options to expand, as he does have this huge muta force flying up into the main and over the production structures. Gonna magic box this door and take it out very quickly, only losing just a handful of mutas there. Now is focusing in on the production facilities. More Marines flying up, stemmed, and no, mutas fly away before any damage is done by those Marines, just kind of forcing the Terran to keep an eye on where he is. More Marines here chasing him. These Marines are going to get cleaned up by all these Zerglings and Banelings, and that siege tank also gets picked out, so not able to do any damage to this hatchery being built. And it looks like QXC is on the back ropes for most of this game. He's got a couple of Thors, a few Marines, but it looks like he's starting to get too spread out here, trying to take over the center of the map. Meanwhile, Liquid HayprO looks like he's just sitting on defense, biding his time, building up his army, getting his upgrades exactly the way he wants them, and then he's just going to see the 300-300 push just roll through as he is able just to macro up so fast. Taking out that backdoor hallway, now working on these backdoor rocks, and we will soon see the Zerglings streaming up into the base for QXC, and this is going to do massive amounts of damage. Those Zerglings can get in there, start picking off those missile turrets. We do have several Marines back here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to hold this back. So many Zerglings here just sitting ready to run in. And here comes the stream of Zerglings up into the base. And it looks like they're going right for that missile turret. See the Marines, going to go for those Marines. Get a nice surround on those Marines. Taking out those missile turrets. Now working on the production facilities as well as the SCVs. Taking out those tech labs. Taking out the reactor. Now working on the back of the base. These Zerglings are going to get taken out. SCVs forced to retreat. And it looks like QXC is going to lose that command center. Meanwhile, bringing his whole army back. Still leaving these tanks and missile turrets out in the center of the map, but bringing this whole back. This barracks is getting taken down. Supply depot is getting taken down. Mutalisks having free reign of the base, and it looks like the orbital command is going to fall. There it goes. QXC now supply blocked, 169 over 161. Meanwhile, HayprO 172, and just keeps expanding every single possible base on the map. And he's lost this base down here though from this siege tank. Was able to reach that and pick that off. But meanwhile, at the cost, it looks like definitely HayprO is coming out ahead of these battles. Still sitting at 182 supply, building another command center down here, building up this planetary fortress down here, getting those SCVs to mine as fast as they possibly can, just so he can rebuild his army and get back into this fight. Broodlords on their way out, 6 corruptors already in production, as well as getting the adrenal glands, so we should definitely be having Broodlords on the map any minute now. Another force of Banelings and Zerglings flowing into the main base here. Gonna see this Thor and get chased away, but probably gonna do massive amounts of damage to that Thor and take it out.